Welcome everyone to our second climate supper, what we organize during the Food and Climate Shaper Digital Bootcamp, what is a joint educational program of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations and the Future Food Institute. So I am extremely happy to start the first session today. This time we will have 3 blocks, so please stay tuned on our social media channels and travel virtually around the world. What can you expect from this day today? We have more than 40 participants this time on the Digital Bootcamp, coming from all over the world, from New Zealand, through the whole globe to Portland. So they will all dial in with their dining experience guests and tell you all the conscious conversations they are talking about, what meals they prepared, and what exactly is their mission, their climate shaper mission. So without me spending too much time, I would like to just introduce myself. My name is Giulia Dalmadi. I am the Director of Community Programs at Future Food and leading these digital bootcamp experiences. You will see many faces today, not only the participants, but also the team behind this program and also our local hosts. The local hosts are either alumni of this program, like you can see Amanda Katili dialing in from Indonesia. And we also have our other Future Food team members from other parts of the world, like Hazuki from Tokyo. And you can see Lauren, and we have someone from the media team always in the background. Francesco Tita is the one who will make sure that all of this is smooth transition when we swap from location to location. So at the beginning you saw, this is the first 2-hour session, traveling through China, Singapore, New Zealand, India, and Afghanistan. And then we will take a 2-hour break and then connect back at 11 a.m. Central European time. Now, I think my part is done here. I would like to hand over to the founder of the Future Food Institute to say a few words before we go to China.
Ciao, Giulia. I'm super excited as well. And actually, I want to show you, I don't know if you see, you don't see everything, but I'm starting cooking as well here because here is breakfast time, but I'm going to host my dinner tonight as well. So the global dinner, the global supper, the global tour we're doing, actually, as you said, is inspired to climate change, sustainability. So through dinners and through stories that are going to be shared around the table, we really want to create awareness about what we are eating, from where our food comes from, and of course, start conscious conversations around our food, our traditions, our memories, and how much we need those kind of moments where we are reconnecting with food, understanding that each time we gather around the table, we are honoring our past because we are sharing our traditions and memories, but also we are engaging and experiencing good time with the people we love, and we are preparing for the future because everything we choose to eat actually is connecting us to a food choice that is gonna create an impact. So I'm super excited because I see many friends. I wish I could have them here around my table, but I'm gonna connect with them virtually today. I'm super glad to have Azuki with us because this week for the Future Food family in Japan was very important because we officially opened our living lab in Kiyobashi area. So Azuki, thank you so much for the work you're doing. You are today representing our Japanese team and we were with our heart with you. And I think we should start connecting with the first kitchen, flying to China and our friends from the Good Food Fund. So his family, I see kids around, I see a lot of beautiful food, and I want to learn everything about the recipe, from where this food comes from, and everything behind the stories. And so I really would love to start this tour in the first kitchen. Let's jump into the first kitchen.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, hi.
Thank you, Sarah and Julia. I'm Huiyu. I really enjoyed the journey of our boot camp, and I'm super excited to be the first to run this climate supper. I am with my colleagues at the Good Food Fund, the Mama's Kitchen team, and also my partner Doris here in the Mama's Kitchen in Dali, Yunnan, a southwest town in China, maybe the most biodiverse region in China. And before I introduce our dishes and recipes, I would like to introduce everyone on the table. Oh, by the way, it is 2 p.m. in China here, and we are about to start our lunch.
Great. And I'm drinking my tea because here is breakfast time. It's 7 a.m.
So this is Jian Yi, our president and also our brain of the Good Food Fund.
Hi, we're having a very late lunch because of this. We're hungry. Can't wait.
And we are with Jian Yi's family.
Kwan Kwan, a 6-year-old, my wife Eva.
And Bo Yun and Xiao Diao, they are the photographers for the Mama's Kitchen team. And Xiao Li, who is our housekeeper here in the Dali house.
Hello, everyone.
And my partner Doris, we just had a local discovery at a local fair yesterday, a Friday local fair. Yeah.
It was amazing.
So,
Okay, just go ahead. Sorry, yeah.
so maybe I will let Jian Yi briefly introduce our Mama's Kitchen.
Hi. Yeah, I just very briefly, the Mama's Kitchen is our initiative to put together chefs and those who cook at home, to inspire each other to cook good, healthy, sustainable food. So our aim is to revolutionize our kitchens, so we can prioritize health and sustainability in our kitchens, and also build community kitchens across China. So this is really exciting. We've been doing this for 3 months now. And this project has also won the 2015 Food System Vision Prize by the Rockefeller Foundation. Actually, literally a few hours ago, we were presenting this project as the last phase of our accelerator. So we now officially finished the accelerator, and we can start the project now. So really exciting and really nice to meet everybody.
Wonderful. Can you tell us a bit, who is these community kitchens for? Is that for the local communities together, or is that for smaller businesses to start kicking off their sustainable food projects?
It's for local communities, the families. So, for example, a typical community kitchen would be hosted in a local wet market, and then people from the communities can go there and cook together with chefs. But we would always prioritize diets that are healthy and sustainable, and also local, and as well as biodiverse. So we regard these community kitchens as the urban food hubs, connecting the producers and the consumers to feature, future dietary patterns that are kind to ourselves, to animals, and to the planet.
Wonderful. So is your menu today something what you imagine having in these food hubs in the future?
That we have to ask this guy. He's the cook.
Yes, before my guests clear the plate, I will show some dishes now. So this is cucumber.
See, I need to show this because Huoyu has incredible cutting skills. So it's like a whole cucumber.
I keep one uncooked to show how it is cut. It is a traditional dish in, I think, in Beijing or northern China.
Very nice.
Cucumber.
And this is salad that I have made because I'm very used to cooking Western dishes. So, but I use all local ingredients. So it's actually kale, but then the kale is put in oven and then topped it with topped up with this is walnut, yes, and cashew, and there are beetroots and also local figs, and then also broccolis and mint. And then the topping is very special. And is Huayu's idea actually is, can you guess what it is? It's very smelly, but for those who love it, they love it like a lot. It's actually durian. And I think it's Chinese. Yeah.
Oh, that's
yes.
right. That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's durian sauce, but
Oh.
it goes really well with the salad. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I
Smells
will
so
hand
good.
over to Huayu to introduce the other dish.
你先讲那个瓜吧，我去拿。
Oh, okay.
Actually,
So
yeah.
oh, this one. So this is a very traditional kind of dish that we just fry different vegetables together. But today we have a special, we fry a special kind of melon. And I don't even know the name in the official name in English, but it actually means the Buddha hands melon. So I think it doesn't look like the Buddha hand at all, but that's the name. So they have very romantic names of all kind of vegetables here, and it's a local delicacy. It's a bit sweet. And then let me see. Huayu, what do you want to introduce next?
The soup.
Okay, so is it the soup that you're making?
Yes.
Okay, he's okay. Bring it over.
So because it is Mama's kitchen, so today I cooked the dishes that I learned from my mama. So traditionally, this soup is cooked with pork meatballs, but I replaced pork meatballs with mashed lotus root. So this ball is made of mashed lotus roots. Also, I combined some wild fungus here in Yunnan. So
Yunnan is famous for fungus.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
Fungi mushroom.
Yes. They have at least 20 of them in just a single market. In
so
just a single
good.
store in the market
So
is
good.
crazy. And we have really wild names as well.
and I think in every dish there are some mushrooms, and this is called what is it called? King oyster mushroom. King oyster mushroom. And this is very the style of my mama's cooking. Stir fry cabbage, tomatoes, enoki mushroom, and also some fried tofu.
Oh, where's the tofu? Oh, here.
Here's the
It's
tofu.
heated.
Yeah, so all kinds of diversity foods in local here. So I think
all
I've
delicious.
introduced all the dishes.
All delicious, and I am very happy that I cannot even like smell at the moment, because most probably I would get just so hungry. I wish I could be beautiful.
Sorry about that. Make you
No,
so
no, all
We
hungry.
want
good.
to start to
Reschedule
fly
this.
again. We want to come and visit you.
Thank you. One more question I have. So we talked about Mama's kitchen. We talked about the beautiful dinner table, what you prepared. Would you mind just saying 2 more words about the Good Food Fund and what your mission is with the fund?
Oh, okay. Yeah. The Good Food Fund was founded 4 years ago to promote food system transformation in China. So we are the first one to connect all the dots in the food system. So for example, people who work to improve our production of food, and people who are in the vegetarian movement, for example, and policymakers and wet market managers. So we are like the first organization who try to connect all these dots to bring forward food system transformation in China, which, as you all know, is very, very important because China is the largest producer and consumer of food in the world. And with 1/5 of the world's population, we consume 1/3 of the world's meat, and which has a huge impact on the rest of the world. So, yeah, so we hope, there's so many more things to do. We hope we can yeah, we can make good progress in the next years as we are entering this new decade. So yeah, so we look forward to working with all all of you, and because the food system is a global thing, right? So there's so many different connections between our countries in this whole system. So yeah, we look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you so
And
much.
Sarah, you've been doing really, really, really important work connecting all of us.
Well, I think in the same mission. So I love that this is a huge global family that is growing. And this 2021 is going to be crucial because we need to engage all the ones that are speaking different kind of languages and still didn't understood how much is crucial to think about food and fixing the food system if we want to have a better ecosystem around us, let's say. So let's work together.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us in this journey and for kicking off in the tastiest way our climate supper.
It's our privilege to kick this off.
So now enjoy your late lunch. Thank you for being patient.
Just to add one thing, it is the first time that I cook in this Mama's Kitchen because we work remotely. I work remotely with the Mama's Kitchen team. So we for the past week, we had our annual meeting here. So I came here to Dali, Yunnan, and have the chance to cook for my colleagues. So we don't eat like this every day.
Special moment.
Yeah.
Uyu, thank you so much. Perfect timing with the yearly meeting, annual meeting, and the climate supper. Thank you for sharing some of your mama's recipes, even if it was virtually. And please enjoy your company, have those conscious conversations for the rest of your meal.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julia.
Thank you.
Thank you. So while we are waiting for the next dinner table to dial in from Singapore, I would like to take the chance and introduce Amanda Katiliniode from Indonesia. So Amanda, tell us a bit about yourself and also your climate supper experience from July.
Hi, yeah, I'm Amanda. I'm the alumni of the first Digital Bootcamp. And I'm managing two organizations. One is the Climate Reality Project, an organization that mainstreams the climate crisis and its solutions, including the food system as one of the solutions. And then I'm also managing Omar Niode Foundation. It's a small nonprofit that raised the awareness on local food and culture. Our climate supper was very interesting because there were about 20 people attending from all over Indonesia, and they're cooking the same dish, really local dish made of corn. It's a corn soup. And although it's a similar dish, but each has a different story because they're from all over the countries, and then also the ingredients, it will be based on their preference. So it's always interesting, especially if you see food spread on the table.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Do you want to also tell us what do you do when you are not organizing these climate suppers with the Future Food Institute?
Are you asking me?
I don't hear you.
Yes, yes. Oh, can you hear me now?
Who are you talking to?
To you, Amanda. So if you can tell also what are your day-to-day activities, because you are a climate shaper in Indonesia. So maybe about the event, what you're organizing next week. So tell us a bit, tell the audience a bit about your other.
Yeah. It's inspired by the Digital Bootcamp. We are going to have what we call the Youth Leadership Camp for Climate Crisis. It will be a 3-day camp from morning till afternoon, where the participants will learn, everything about food, but related to climate. And we only have slots for 15 team, so it's for 75 people. But right now we already have more than 300 people applying to be involved in the camp. So it's really amazing. We think we have to do it again. And thank you, because we are asking the Future Food Institute to be one of the speakers. It will increase the popularity and the visibility of the camp if we have a Digital Bootcamp alumni as well.
Super. Thank you so much, Amanda. And thank you for being here.
And we will be glad to join.
Thank you, Sarah.
Very good. So now the next person who you could also see on the screen is Hazuki. So Hazuki, can you tell us a bit about the Kiyobashi Living Lab? So what is that place, magical place, what Sarah talked about at the beginning of the session?
Right. So I was totally not expecting that, but okay. So Kiyobashi Living Lab is composed of 3 or 4 main areas, and it's kind of very close to Tokyo Station, which is the biggest station in Tokyo, biggest station in Japan. And it's a very sort of, it has a really deep-rooted tradition in starting from the Edo period. So food there is very unique, and people take pride in their food. And we've collaborated with a real estate company called Tokyo Tatemono. And basically we're sort of trying to build this ecosystem from Kyobashi. So, with your help, we get to connect with the world's sort of food leaders and sort of, communities working for a better food future. And we're also collaborating with those old style local people, and also other like-minded people in Japan as well. So basically it's a food hub, I guess, in Tokyo. Just started and growing very fast, I guess.
Yes. I had the chance to work with Hazuki and the team, although it was not in the physical spaces, given the circumstances we had in 2020. But we did organize a research dinner with multiple different stakeholders in Tokyo, and we had Saki, the chef, to organize very diverse veggie box, what went out to all of the participants, and we had very interesting conversations about how their nutrition and diet choices are made, and what are the traditions in Japan. And one thing I had to learn during this time was that in Japan, people give fruits as gifts. That also means that fruits are perfect all the time. And they are also sometimes price-wise a bit more expensive. But I found the tradition itself, I find it very nice, because I think, why not gifting? I, for example, prefer sometimes getting a cauliflower or broccoli instead of a bouquet of flower. Because how nice is that you can eat it afterwards, right? Yeah. Right. So I'm just checking in the waiting room. We should have the Singapore team joining us soon. But in the meanwhile, let's just talk a bit more about the Digital Bootcamp. So the Digital Bootcamp is a 4-week part-time learning experience, where the participants with very, very diverse backgrounds, age groups, also nationalities, so where they are coming from, joining one virtual classroom, and they learn about prosperity thinking, ecosystemic thinking, and we give them a lot of tools to then start being active in their local communities. I therefore call this program hybrid, because yet I can only connect with my participants through a screen, which is a shame, and I hope it will change at one point. But we do encourage them to get out there, to connect with their local environment, to identify all those food and climate shapers who are already around them, but they might have not seen them, because we all know there are dormant resources but are visible but not seen. And besides that, we also have 4 different tracks, which are content related, division of live conversations, or also recorded master classes. And these are climate smart cities, farms, kitchens, and oceans. So this batch, we already had more than 50 experts contributing with their expertise to the bootcamp, either in a live conversation format with different exercises and brainstormings and Q&As with the students, but also recorded material what they can watch in their free time. We also have Lauren here, who was a fellow student with Amanda, and we had the possibility to meet in person on the one boot camp what we managed to organize in Italy this year in Pollica, the capital of the Mediterranean diet. So Lauren, how was your boot camp experience, both digital and in person?
I will say for our climate supper in July, it was really special because we utilized ingredients from and recipes from all of the participants' countries that were participating in the boot camp. For example, I'm from the United States, so I used a recipe highlighting corn, like a corn and bean type of salad. We did a biodiversity hummus that was really special. So that was our climate supper in Bologna. And then in Pollica, yeah, it was extremely, extremely special because one piece that was really, I think, stood out to me was the circular farm where they were transforming their waste into biofuel. It was really, really a great experience. I've never seen something like that before. So that was really special.
Thank you. And Lauren now is a very valuable member of the bootcamp team. So she is there with me to make sure that this 4 week is running smoothly, and we juggle all the different time zones, as you will also be able to see today. And in the meanwhile, if I'm not mistaken, we already have our team from Singapore here. Valentina, can you hear us? I think, oh yes, their audio is not connected yet. So until their audio gets connected, I will just keep. There we go. Hi.
One moment, Valentina and Yvonne.
Hello.
Hello, hello. So yeah, this is a special joint dining experience you see here. We actually have two of our participants, Valentina and Yvonne, there as well, with their guests. Hi, Adam.
Out the masks because now the food has arrived. We have all our beauty nutritious soups made with healthy ingredients, brown rice, pumpkin rice, also a chicken
soup.
Correct, and drumsticks with a lot of goji things.
Berries.
And so we start eating now. We are just trying to position the laptop in order to.
And our guests.
Yeah, our guests. Sorry.
Hi.
Adam,
Hi.
Lyle.
Hi.
Ciao, Sara. Hello.
Hi, Sarah. Ciao, Sarah.
And also Michael Patane,
Piacere, signora.
innovation head of DSM in Singapore. So
Ciao.
later we will also do the cooking and webinar demo for the Mediterranean Diet Project. So also another chef will join us later. We went to the wet market before. So it's a day dedicated to
the climate
Wonderful.
supper.
I'm very happy to hear. So I really don't want your soup to get cold. So
Okay.
once you position the phone, maybe you can all sit down and we can have a little chat with you. I hope you can hear me well. So tell me, Valentina, how did you pick the recipe for today, this healthy, beauty, nutritious soup?
Well, this is not a recipe. We bought it from a local poker center, and Adam knows we were speaking of it about it. Guys, I think you are not holding the camera.
It's not going to be possible. You can't get everybody.
No, we can put it.
But then it's going to be too far.
Oh, but it's okay. We can just speak.
Julia, you can hear us,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, maybe you have to speak a tiny, tiny bit louder. so that not only me, but everyone on the broadcast can hear you, but at least we can see you all now. So positioning the camera, thumbs up.
See us now?
Yes.
You can see up there. You can see
Okay, maybe we just, but like they don't see you.
We're not important.
Oh yes.
That's okay. That's not the most important part. So tell us a bit about this place where you got the soup from. So what is this local business?
It's a like kind of hawker center, and Adam before was explaining me that the hawker center in Singapore are also in the list of the next UNESCO heritage.
Yes, the expert committee recommended last month that Singapore hawker centres could be included as a cultural identity in the same way that UNESCO recognised and listed the Mediterranean diet 10 years ago. So there's another bond between the Mediterranean diet and Singapore hawker centres, which would be great. And that decision, interestingly, is supposed to be made this coming week. So during the boot camp, you might hear more about that as well, which again, be a great thing to see the fusion of Singapore hawker culture with what you all are doing and what we're going to be doing with the Living Lab. So everything's coming together very nicely.
Because here we are at Incubator, that is a part of the Singapore Future Food Living Lab. That is a kitchen that all the startups can use to experiment and create their future foods. And just to tell you something about what we are going to eat now, so there is a Lotus Soup, a ABC soup. The Lotus Soup.
I have the Lotus Soup. So the lotus looks like this.
It's like a root, correct? Yeah. It's like a root.
It's like a root.
Maybe okay, can bring
Photography.
Thank you, Mike.
This is a lotus. Can you see that? Lotus root, and it's considered very nutritious in soup. And they usually cook it with pork, and pork is considered sweet for the body. So all this is very specific to helping the balance the body's nutrition needs, as well as the yin and the yang. I mean, I can talk more about the rest of the ingredients.
Yes,
but let's move on to the next soup.
My soup, I think, is the Imperial herbal chicken, correct?
No, yours is the
healthy
winter melon soup.
Winter melon soup. Okay, so the winter melon
is cooling for the body. So cooling is it's a kind of description for the what the Asians believe when you have too much heat, and heat is not linked to spiciness. It's linked to if you have too much heaty phlegm in the body. So the winter melon cools down the body.
And then we have some goji.
So goji berries are very nutritious. They're these little red berries. They're good for the eyes, and they're hence good for the kidneys.
And then pork.
Pork is
again,
sweet.
And the Mike has, maybe I give you. You can go there.
ABC soup, which is corn, carrots, and it's supposed to have they call it ABC soup, but it's not really ABC. But it's also
because when I was growing up, we actually had soups with the pasta, which was shaped with the letters of the alphabet.
Right? Yeah. I had that too. So this is also considered a very staple, nutritious soup. If you're not feeling well, you can also have this.
And what about Adam? So Adam has the Imperial herbal chicken.
Adam has the Imperial Soup, which means that it's infused with all kinds of different herbs that is very, it makes the body robust, you know, so when you're sick or you have a flu, you take this. And besides the goji berries, they have that kind of fruit in there, which is good for the blood.
Well, chicken soup, you know, all cultures enjoy chicken soup for good health.
This one is good for the blood, so...
And then the rice, we have brown rice, because everyone knows the white rice is not very healthy. So brown rice and pumpkin rice also. This one?
So
And then we have
question,
a
Valentina, pumpkin rice. Is that a mix of pumpkin with rice, or what is pumpkin rice? I never heard about it.
You cook the pumpkin in the rice.
Yes, you just
okay.
Yes. But it's Asian pumpkin. It's an Asian pumpkin, so it has a bit of different nutrition difference.
And here we also have again the brown rice with fish and veggies.
These tiny fried fish are called, they are dried and they're very full of calcium. They're full of calcium, so it's good for the bones. So women take it in, as it's good for calcium as well. And then of course the other types of vegetables in there. So vegetarian, not vegetarian, but if you don't want to eat a lot of meat, this would be what you would eat.
Okay, we put here. I think we start eating. If not, everything becomes.
Exactly. We start eating, but I still have a few questions. So maybe always one can speak while the others are eating. So Valentina, as I said, Valentina and Yvonne are attending our boot camp, so they are also participants. But I would like you to very shortly introduce yourself and tell about your background, or what do you do when you are not doing a climate supper for the Digital Bootcamp, and also then hear a bit more about your guests and about Padang from Adam. So maybe we can just go through all of you and learn a bit more about your activities.
Okay, let me start. So maybe they can eat the soup, but still is a bit warm. My name is Valentina Rigi. I come from Bologna. That is the birthplace also of the Future Food Institute. And I know Sarah since we were teenagers. And then I moved to Singapore 8 years ago. I'm a journalist, PR and communication manager. And I worked with the gelato, for many years. And now I'm happy to have started also another, a new chapter with the future foods. The world definitely needs healthy solutions, and the future foods, considering the growth of the population all around the world, are a priority now. So I started collaborating with Adam and Padang & Co, and we are trying to create this future food living lab in Singapore, and it will be kind of fluid concept. So incubator, where we are, is part of that. The core is in DSM, and we have here Michael, that is the innovation head of DSM. And also Michael, like me, has got Italian origins, even if he's Australian. But I don't know if it's the Italian heart, the Italian soul that, it brings us together all around the world. But so Mike now is the innovation head of DSM, that has got amazing laboratories. Then Mike, later please explain more about DSM and Bright Science Hub.
Of course.
And then Yvonne, I think Yvonne can introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Yvonne Fung. I'm a founder of a software company based in Singapore, and we're part of the co-working space of Level 3 Padang & Co. So I know Adam as well. And so our software company deals with a mobile form sharing of data between teams and companies. So we track goods and we track actions. And we're a very strong pillar in health, safety, environment, and sustainable practices. So one of the excited students of this program, the bootcamp here, learning a lot, so very interesting, and having talked to Sarah and Julia, I think it's an amazing program. So it's an example. This is something that we can aesthetically feel and communicate and connect with people, and not just education based on online. So this is an experience that I believe is very important, and it should be shared and expanded on internationally. So when I heard that they're opening up a future food innovation kitchen here in Singapore, I think that's the perfect answer to what we need.
And we need people like Yvonne. We are trying to create an ecosystem that involves also other countries in the Asian region. So also Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam, And Singapore is a perfect hub, but you know, all around there are countries that really need to be enhanced and helped to, I mean, network and accelerate and etc. etc. So now, Mike, please tell us more about
Yes, Mike.
what you are doing at DSM now and with Rice and Sub. I know that this week you have been busy with a lot of summits speaking about this, new project.
Thank you, Valentina. I'm essentially an old scientist that loves to cook and work with businesses to be able to bring good food to market. So I trained as a medical scientist and then worked in industries for maybe 40 years. And in between that, I cooked a little bit.
He cooks very well, much better than me.
Thank you, Valentina. But essentially what DSM does is look at health and nutrition globally. And what we do is we tailor good food and good nutrition and ingredients, because every person in every country, their diet is a little bit different. So to be able to supplement a diet with what's grown in a country or brought into the country just makes it more appealing, and it makes people's lives better. An example is that here in Asia, rice is eaten a lot. And you have some countries that are deficient in having some vitamins and minerals in their food. So what DSM did was manufacture rice. So literally had taken sustainable rice that wasn't used in the community, ground it and turned it into flour, and then extruded it to make little pellets that look like rice. And inside that, we'd fortify it with vitamins and minerals. And we change the ingredients depending on whether or not you're selling these products in Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Indonesia, just to be able to take staple foods and make them healthy. You know, when you look at it, a Mediterranean diet, it's wonderful in that it has lots of fresh food, lots of fresh ingredients. And in Asia, this is what the region is renowned for. Everything is eaten fresh. It's eaten straight away. So one of the good things about being able to adapt the Mediterranean lifestyle in Singapore is that you take fresh ingredients, you prepare them and serve them straight away. And they're full of vegetables, full of fresh fish. It has wonderful oils that are polyunsaturated, so they're a little bit better than the hard fats for you. So all this is very symbiotic between Europa and Ecuador.
In fact, next week, you will receive a video that we are making, this, it's a really, I'd say, extraordinary webinar and cooking demo in which Mike, with Timong, that is another chef, Australian, but kind of Singapore adoptive now, as a famous chef. He worked with a master chef. He has a cooking school that is among the 9 top cooking schools in the world. And later he will cook, trying to combine the principles of the Mediterranean diet with the local ingredients that you find in Asia, in Singapore, in a wet market. But now I would like also Adam
Can't wait to see the video.
To speak.
Can't wait to see the video. Yeah.
Sorry?
I want to say, looking forward to seeing the video.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, thank you very much. And then Adam, please.
Sure. Thanks, Valentina. Hi, everybody. I'm Adam Lyle. Again, another Australian here in Singapore. I've been here for the last 14 years or so. I co-founded a company called Padang, and that's been operating for the last 7-8 years. We're an innovation catalyst, meaning that we bring people together, startups, multinationals, large local companies, to develop new opportunities, solve problems. And one of our focus areas for the last 3 years has been around food and agri. We developed a space, and that's how I met Yvonne, here called Level 3, which we partnered with Unilever to build this space. We have about 65 companies working out of that area. And then late last year, off the back of that, DSM and Unilever worked together. DSM was interested to see what had been done at Unilever. And so they approached us, and we've now created the Bright Science Hub inside DSM's headquarters here in Singapore, which Mike looks after from the DSM side. We're bringing together and introducing startups to work out of that space. And what's really exciting about the Bright Science Hub is that DSM has these amazing 5 laboratories which cover a whole range of different food options. So a startup can be working out of the Bright Science Hub, the co-working space, ideating, pushing their ideas out, talking to Mike and his team, getting feedback on some of their ideas, then literally taking them into the laboratory to kind of cook them up and test them. And then if they want to go to the next stage and actually they need more kitchen-like facilities, then our other great partner in Bright Science Hub, Incubator, where we're sitting today, they can then have the opportunity to come here. It's a location that's only like a 10-minute ride away, so all very close. And so in this way, we're able to combine all the elements together. And the food scene in Singapore, not only is it, food is a very key part of everything Singaporean, always has been, but future food, looking at nutrition, new ways. Just 10 days ago, Singapore was the first country in the world to set the standards to allow the sale of cultivated meat, in this case, chicken from Just Eat. So Singapore is leading the world in a whole range of future food options. So it's a very exciting space to be. And that's why working with Mike and the DSM folks is great, given that DSM's global position on nutrition is amazing, and the opportunities to be able to combine and look at this, what DSM is doing in plant-based alternatives in Europe. Huge library and access to technology. That,
we're looking forward to working with you.
Yeah, so lots of opportunities.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm very happy that through Adam and Valentina, we also had Yvonne joining our bootcamp, and we will have one more person, Ruel from the Philippines, dialing in at the beginning of the next big climate supper session, starting at 11 a.m. Central European time. And this being said, so how is your meal? Because now I see you are already refilling with rice and everything. I'm observing all of the dinner tables while I'm listening. So are you satisfied with the meal what you picked?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And it's lovely, and I mean, you really feel well eating this. For us, it's not exactly time for a meal. I mean, it's 2:30 p.m. It's like almost 3 p.m. in the afternoon. But again, so we weren't exactly, I think, even if we didn't eat before. So yeah. I think, but yeah, we decided for a light meal.
Second meal.
Yes. We cut the rice quantities. I mean, normally people have 1 bowl of rice each. We decided for 3 to share.
One of the interesting things about life in Singapore, it's a little bit like Italy, it's all about food. So people go out to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day.
Yeah, we have 365 different kinds of food in Singapore.
Yeah. So it's easy to go out and eat. The choice of food is astounding. It's one of the reasons why I came back to live here. But the ability to walk down the street and have a choice of literally 100 restaurants and cafes and hawker stalls, and meals, you could have a wonderful meal for the equivalent of $5 or 3 or 4 euros.
Yeah, each of these.
But then how does it influence?
$6 or $7. That is like €4.
Yeah, so it's wonderful to have access to so many, like so much diversity in food. But as you mentioned, most of the people go out and eat. How do you think it has an influence on their own food literacy and their knowledge about how to prepare meals, where their food is coming from?
One of the things it does is give people an idea of what tastes good and what they'd really like to experiment with. You will see people that when a new restaurant opens, there will be a line outside the restaurant to try the new food when it's open. If they like what they've tasted, they'll go and try and practice it at home. So going out to eat not only just gives your palate a wonderful experience, but it gives you some inspiration to go and take home to try and make what you've tasted. Singaporeans love to cook, love to eat out, but they like to be able to balance the two.
There's also 4 different national cultures here: the Chinese, the Indians, the Malays, and the Eurasians. So there is a native culture here called the Peranakan culture, and they create a lot of their own local foods based on the ingredients in this region. So if you can't find it in Singapore, it's mostly in Malaysia or along the straits. So those kinds of ingredients come in. And that's also the local food that people love.
Peranakan is wonderful Malaysian type food.
Yeah, I'm partly Peranakan.
So you have magnificent curries. You have, and Malaysia is literally across a border to Singapore. So the ability to have all this wonderful curry, wonderful fresh fish, wonderful, lovely fresh vegetables, it's just an ability to want to eat constantly and be able to cook.
Well, I must say with the fresh vegetables, what I would really like to have here is Italian tomatoes. We do not get the quality of European tomatoes.
Also zucchini.
Yeah.
It's like the taste, because it's so humid that the soil is different.
And I do think that is the thing. On the surface, obviously, all the vegetables and fruits similar to Europe are grown here, or not literally in Singapore, but in the region. But the deliciousness factor at times is different.
And I want to add one last thing. I was speaking about it with Adam before. We were seated in a wet market in a food court doing, they are shopping for the webinar. And so I said, Adam, you know that in Italy, we haven't got so many of these places. Now, recently, there has been a growth, but in the past, everyone was eating or at home or at the restaurants. And every meal was at specific timings. It really couldn't happen. All the restaurants were closed after 2 p.m. in the afternoon until 7 p.m. in the evening. And then...
Still like that, Vale. It's still like that, Italy.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So,
except Milan, except Rome, it's still like that.
And it's a big difference. And I read, preparing for this Mediterranean diet webinar. Oh, wow, you are cooking now. So
I'm getting ready for our dinner tonight. So I'm starting preparing everything also here.
Yeah, amazing. I don't know how you can do all of this, Sarah. Yeah, super multitasking. No, but again, for me, the big difference between Europe, Italy, or the Mediterranean countries and Asia is this, again, street food against home and restaurant habit, to eat. And one of the pillars of the Mediterranean diet is that you enjoy a meal with your family, with the people you love, seated on a table, enjoying it also maybe a bit longer than needed. Okay. Here, really, you eat in a few minutes, just trying to save time at in a street food place. And sometimes you meet people or you organize with people, but it's a different approach. And I know that Mike, that is a great chef, he's organizing at his home and he's collaborating with chefs, just creating these really Mediterranean moments in which people cook together and enjoy meals at home or at restaurants. And a lot of cooking schools are having births now here. I mean, there is a boom, and all these Singaporean, that Yvonne maybe can tell us more, that I know when we say that we maybe are Italian, or they say, oh, I would like to learn how to cook. So there is a boom also in these culinary courses. So I believe that maybe we can find a balance.
Definitely. I think balance is a very good word, what you mentioned multiple times during introducing your dining experience now. I would like to thank you for dialing in and let you enjoy the rest of your meal. Can't wait for that video coming up next week. We will definitely share it with the audience. And in the same time, I would like to now switch to another location. So we have Lana here dialing in from New Zealand. Thank you, Singapore. See you later.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you, Valentina.
Bye, Sarah.
Ciao.
Hi, Lana. I would like to tell one very interesting thing about Lana and how we met. We actually met in 2019 in Berlin when she attended one of the food shaper workshops we organized with Future Food. And then she left to travel. Then COVID happened and she moved back to New Zealand to Kaipara. Is that the name of the region where you are based, right? And I'm always
our region is called Kaipara.
Exactly, and it has food in the indigenous language in the name of the region, right?
Yeah, so Kaipara, so Kai in Te Reo Māori, which is the indigenous language of Aotearoa, New Zealand. Kai means food, and our district of Kaipara, which surrounds a big harbour, which is the biggest harbour in New Zealand, called Kaipara Harbour, is the word roughly has the meaning of a food basket. And so it's really special to be able to connect the meaning of Kaipara to what we're doing here tonight.
Wonderful. So tell us a bit about what are you doing in between moving and everything, very, very busy weeks with the time zone differences and everything. So how is your climate supper going?
So I will take a moment to introduce you to where I am right now. So welcome to the Kaipara. So this is my backyard. I live on a sheep and beef farm here in the Kaipara. And actually right now, my family is in the process of moving house. And so I'm semi-camping and semi-at home right now. So I've lived in this home for the last, since I was 10 years old, apart from when I obviously went away to university and traveled. So this is a very special meal that I have prepared with ingredients from the Kaipara for my family, because this is one of the last family meals that we're having together in my childhood home. So it's very special to share this with all of you. So now I'm going to take you into the kitchen and introduce you to my family and also to the meal that we have prepared together. And if you follow us on Facebook, Kaipara Kai Hub, or on Instagram, Kaipara Kai Hub, you will see the journey that we've been on today, shopping for the ingredients for this meal in our backyard. And so I'm going to just pass around to our guests. So we don't have a dining table at the moment because we're moving house. So everybody's kind of semi-camping in our kitchen. So this is David, my husband. Hi. He's a chef and he's also working in Auckland at the moment. So he's up to help us move. And this is my father, Chris. He's a sheep farmer. So he's off to a new opportunity in the South Island of New Zealand. So he's moving to another part of the country. And this is a really cool thing to share on our last couple of nights in this beautiful farmland. So this is my mother, Sarah, and she's also joining my father in their journey south to their new farm. All right, so now I'll just pop out the window. So here outside we have some sheep and some cows in the background. So yeah, it gives you a feeling for where I call home. All right, so now I'm going to introduce you to our meal. And tonight we've actually prepared a pescatarian meal from fish that has been caught in the Kaipara harbour by a local fisherwoman. So, all right, let me kind of turn the camera around. So we have Kaipara flounder or sole or flatfish, which we've oven roasted and just in salt and pepper and butter. And I fully have to give David all the credit for doing the work with this one. And so we also went to the markets today, as you would have seen in our Instagram story, and we picked up some kale. And get some better light here. So this dish is inspired by a restaurant in Berlin called Bara Berlin, where we actually ate a kale salad like this. And it's raw kale, it's young kale, so it's fresh and crispy, and it's been marinated in a vinaigrette of honey and apple cider vinegar and lemon juice, and some fresh red onion in there as well. So that's just been marinating up this afternoon. It's going to go really well with our fish. And of course, we have some New Zealand grown potatoes, which we've roasted up. Look how crispy they are. And we're going to have that with our fish tonight. So in the oven as well, I also have prepared, and you would see in my Instagram story, some rhubarb that has grown in my garden outside. So I'm putting this crumble, which I've made, in the oven. So does anybody know what a crumble is? It's kind of a traditional British New Zealand dish. So a crumble is when you stew fruit, and it could be summer fruit or winter fruit, and you stew it down and then you make a crumb on the top. And I've made a crumb out of oats, so New Zealand grown oats and mixed spice and brown sugar, and so then you just bake it in the oven, and it's a really great way to make use of stewed fresh fruits.
Wonderful. It all looks delicious. I really hope you didn't need to wait for us and it's getting cold now.
No, we've timed everything
Lana, can you
perfectly because we have a chef.
Wonderful. Do you want to tell us a bit more about Kaipara Kai Hub and what is your mission and vision there?
Yeah, so Kaipara Kai Hub is a project looking at how we can look at land use diversification and also look at more climate resilient crop practices and look at more value added food systems in the Kaipara district, which is a small and remote district of New Zealand here in the northern part of the country. So in this area, it's typically known for sheep and beef, dairy, and like cow dairy, and kumara or sweet potato farming. So there's three main industries, but we've seen like an opportunity to look at other food production systems that can add some more value to the farmers and the growers here, but also be more resilient to a future climate scenario. Dairy farming, cow dairy farming, typically requires a lot of rainfall and water to be productive, and it typically has a harsher impact on the environment, so on our waterways. And one of the things that we're looking at is how we can provide some alternative options for farmers in the area. And so some research has been done, and they've identified over 27 different crops that could be grown in this area. So because we're at the top of New Zealand, we can grow more subtropical crops here. So things like soybeans, rice, pineapples, bananas, and maybe some people have these in their backyard, but what we're trying to support through research, through connections to other organizations, supporting people with access to value chains and markets and consumers, that we can actually start to develop some of these other crops to a slightly bigger scale, but in a way that's still good for the planet and good for the community here in Kaipara.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lana. I am very, very happy that we could connect with New Zealand through you as well this time. And now I leave you to it. Please enjoy your meal, enjoy the last days of your family home. And it was lovely to meet your family as well. And now let's move to a new country. Sarah has something to
Also,
say.
good luck. They are moving, and it's going to be a new life adventure, a new journey. So good luck for the next chapter that is opening and starting now.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Julia.
Ciao, ciao, ciao. Thank you so much.
So now we are going to India. And I would like to have a gallery view just quickly, because we don't only have participants joining, but many local hosts as well, including my fellow student Elizabeth and former bootcamp participants Arina and Radhika, and of course Vanshika and soon Takshama, who are attending the bootcamp right now. So I'm very happy to see the community, the future food community, growing in India as well. So before we hand over to Vanshika, who I see is sitting in her restaurant, and I think we have a lot of colleagues there as well who joined her. She's actually doing a full day climate supper there. I am very excited about that. Elizabeth, Arina, and Radhika, would you mind just quickly say hi, introduce yourself, and tell us where you are, what you do?
Hi, Julia. Anyone can start if they want, but I think I know most of the people on the screen over here. Hi, Lauren. Haven't seen you in a while. Hi, Vanshika. I'm actually going to be going down for Vanshika's climate supper in a while, but I decided to take the call from here. So I'm a chef based in New Delhi, and the cornerstones of my restaurant are sustainability, and which is what had pushed me to join the boot camp, along with a little persuasion from Elizabeth. And I'm now a proud alumni, and happy to be a local host for the Climate Supper Part 2.
Thank you for being here. Jealous that you can actually join Vanshika's table. I want to. Soon. Arina, how are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, excited.
Yeah.
Again, a marathon, an online marathon.
Hi, so I'm Arina, and I'm a chef and a mixologist based in Mumbai. I mainly do workshops for consumers and schools to teach them how to cook more sustainably, how to eat better, how to choose ingredients better. And I also consult with restaurants and cafes to make their menus and their back-end operations a little more sustainable. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do. And again, Elizabeth and Anusha are the reason I'm here today. And I found out about the program through them, and I was part of the first digital bootcamp. And I'm very excited to be a local host for this one, and hopefully for more to come in the future.
Definitely. Thank you, Arina. So Elizabeth, the famous Elizabeth and Anusha duo of Edible Issues.
It's so exciting to hear, Julia. So hi, for everyone who I haven't met yet, I'm Elizabeth, and I am the co-founder of Edible Issues. And what's so exciting to be here and see Radhika, Arina, and Vanshika is that through Future Food, and which is where Edible started at the Food Innovation Program, which I attended with Julia. We're excited to talk about a lot of these topics that we're discussing here back home, and meet and make all of these new friends through food. And that's been such an exciting part of the journey. You're on mute, Jules.
Muted. Can you tell us a bit about what Edible Issues? So Edible Issues is a newsletter but you also started to do different events and activities, joint projects in India. Recently, something in Bangalore. So do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Yes, so Edible Issues started off at the Food Innovation Program mostly as a way to understand what was going on in India within the food system, or what was happening that pointed towards what the future of food could be like for India. And we then, over the last 2.5 years, we've started doing more projects to either prompt people to think about food in different kinds of ways. So we now define ourselves as a collective that fosters thought and conversation in the food system in India. And since the lockdown, actually, Anusha and I have been in Bangalore, and we started a project called Who Feeds Bangalore, which is a project to think about how the food systems have changed within the city through different public participatory activities like mapping and different kinds of tastings and cook-alongs and different kinds of conversations to understand the different pillars that shape who feeds Bangalore and who feeds those who feed us. So it's a big project we've undertaken here.
Amazing. Thank you, Elizabeth. They, Anusha and Elizabeth were also part of that Nutrition for All research dinner series I mentioned before with Hazuki. We actually had 6 different locations, and you will meet other local hosts later from Brazil and other locations who were part of this research. So as you can see, we have many activities in different fields, let it be innovation, research, different initiatives. So now I am excited to introduce you, Valshi Kapatia. Hi.
Hi, how are you guys?
Very good. How are you?
I am good. So a few people are a little late. Indian Standard Time. Hi Radhika, hi Phoebe. I see Radhika's dog there. It's nice to be here. Everybody, I'm a chef. I'm Vanshika, and we are at my restaurant. So I'm just gonna show it around. This is Sumit. This is Jaya's wife. And they grow mushrooms. It's really exciting. So they're gonna talk about this, and this is my restaurant. Just a little table, and here we have a little kind of appetizer to begin with, just some crudities and some dips. So we have a hemp seed dip, and we have a hummus, and then we also have some vegetarian kibbeh with some pita bread to have with it, and this is something to kind of start off our meal.
Okay, I have to mute it.
This one. Yeah. So I'm still waiting for a few people, but we can still start eating because I'm also hungry. I did not have breakfast. We are so excited about it. Sumit, do you want to tell something about your mushroom farm?
Yeah, sure. Hi, my name is Sumit. I actually grow mushrooms at my farm here in Gurgaon. It's a farm called Shroomery. We grow different kinds of mushrooms all through the year. In fact, we supply to Vanshika's kitchen as well. So we do a bunch of things like oyster mushrooms, portobellos, shiitake, cremini, all kinds of things. And we're kind of exploring a lot of other things that you don't get here. So yeah, just kind of bringing the world of mushrooms to the plates here in India. Because I think just the availability is not as great as maybe say in the US or Europe, where I think a lot of people also forage in the wild for mushrooms and get that. So that's not something that's very common here. So just trying to popularize the world of mushrooms here. So yeah.
Yeah, and with the morels that you get there, I think foraged in India.
Right. So we also now work with people on the ground to kind of forage mushrooms. So things like morels, which are more popular world over as well. And so looking at other varieties as well, which we can get from the forest in India. So kind of exploring the local kind of availability here as well.
Very nice. So you are actually advocating for biodiversity. And how did you decide to become a mushroom farmer?
Well, I mean, I was wanting to do something in agriculture and was kind of looking at a space or maybe ingredients which are not found that easily or grown rather. And also at the same time, something that I enjoyed myself as well. being a vegetarian, and also kind of I think my exposure to mushrooms has been a lot from my time in Singapore. So I've lived there for 4 or 5 years. So mushrooms is a very big part of the cuisine there. So that's where I got kind of exposed to a lot of the different varieties. And then when I came back, I used to always wonder why you don't find these other varieties here. They're mostly imported and you don't find them in the markets. It's mostly in restaurants and, hotels. So that was kind of the thing. How do I kind of explore growing them and also getting them to the plates, at home, not necessarily restaurants as well, but how do you kind of also get people to buy them, try them at home? So I think kitchens like Vanchika, when people visit here, they see that produce and then they want to go back home and try it as well. So I think that's also what we try to do. So not just coming out and eating them, but also at home trying to cook with them. So we've actually shot a bunch of recipes with her as well of how to, cook with those mushrooms at home. Simple, easy recipes. So we've even done that kind of stuff.
Very nice, thank you. So Vanchika, you are having a climate supper the whole day, a climate dining throughout the whole day.
It's available the whole day, and I've invited a few more people, and I've told them, just come whenever you can, because it's very difficult these days to kind of schedule people, and because they're feeling a little, should we go out, should we not? So I'll probably also send food out that I'm making today to their homes. Just because we've made it and whoever comes, whichever guest comes, we're kind of advertising it in that way, that this little menu of 2-3 dishes is available throughout the day. So I'm gonna stay online as well. I'll just like pop in, pop out, and see what's happening, and just see how it's going.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Before I hand over to Takshama, I would like to ask you one thing. So 2020 was a very challenging year for many reasons, and you are running a restaurant in a hotel, and you have a bigger team who you also had to take care of during the time of lockdown. Do you want to tell us what were your very agile and all the pivoting what you had to do throughout the year, and how is it going for you now?
It's still really difficult. We only opened for dinner. So right now we opened up because of the climate supper, but otherwise we only opened for dinner. It's people are ordering in a lot more than they're coming to dine out. So we've kind of changed our business model, and we're moving towards deliveries a lot more, and online workshops, and everything that's online, and not like people don't have to be physically present for that. So that is going well, but otherwise it's not really that great. I mean, it is picking up because it's December and it's Christmas time and New Year's time, so it is picking up definitely, but it's still not even a fraction there yet. So yeah, we were hoping that it'll be better in the coming months.
Maybe
I
climate
also
supper will get people out of their homes and visit you.
yeah, we're also today we're also eating a mushroom and rose pate, which is made on a silbata. So it's not the pate is not blended in a blender. We have this stone which has grooves on it, and then another stone, a smaller stone, in which you use to grind. That was also a dormant resource that I presented in the classes, because it's something that does not need electricity, does not need any fuel. It's just something that you can use, and the aromas and the flavors come out even better. So we're going to have that with a multigrain toast. The multigrain, I should tell you as well what we're eating. The multigrain bread is made with 2 types of millet and wheat, and bajra. That flour is made with, that is from a local farm, and a lot of seeds and oats and stuff are there inside the bread and on top of the bread. And then we're having so this is one of the signature dishes of the restaurant, an upcycled tortellini, which is and it sells a lot, and I'm very excited about it because that helps us not waste anything. Right. All the filling, it keeps changing because depending on what is not being used and what is in season. So all the peels and stems and everything, they go in the filling. Cheese trimmings, all of that. So the filling turns out to be really tasty because we season it as well, and the textures are very different and very nice. So it helps us. It helps us kind of curb our wastes, not waste. Yeah, so we're having that with like an almond and cherry tomatoes butter sauce. And for dessert, because strawberries are in season, we're having a strawberry tart. So lots of food.
Sounds delicious. This day will be very challenging for me, but I'm using the breaks between the sessions to do my shopping on a local market and try to squeeze in some cooking as well. So I wanted to mention that both Vanshika and Radhika are part of the Chef Manifesto. Would you like to tell us a bit more about this movement? Not necessarily us, but the audience about this movement as well.
Yes, I was really excited when I was introduced to the Chef's Manifesto. I think Radhika and I were introduced almost at the same time. It is a manifesto of chefs by chefs and a really cool guy named Paul who runs everything. And it focuses on SDG 2. So that is zero hunger. And it's a lot of chefs who kind of come together and we meet and we cook together and focus a lot on promoting zero waste in all our restaurants and all our practices, and try to be do as much local sourcing as possible. So it's a really fun, cool, and very important movement that we do there. Radhika, do you want to talk a little bit? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So I think when we joined the Chefs Manifesto, it was just about 70 chefs from across the world. And now it's about 800 plus chefs from across, I think, maybe 70 or 72 countries. So that is how the community has grown. The Chefs Manifesto was actually made by chefs for chefs to make sustainability much easier and not so complicated as you would seem to think it to be. So you have like these 8 thematic areas, and what you are encouraged to do is not focus on all 8. Do what you can, and just it helps that it's such a great network. It's so strongly advocated through the world, and you can reach out to all these chefs and kind of create more movements and campaigns, etc., which can be carried out through and through the globe. So it's like a no border community. Whatever works for you, you do that.
It's pretty cool that you can just go to a country because it's so widespread now, and you can go to any country, any city, and just reach out to Paul or somebody from Chef's Manifesto that I'm here, I'm in France, I'm in Paris, and is anybody here? So you can just go and meet the chef there, and they can like give you like a local tour or take you to their kitchens, and you can just go cook with them or something like that. So yeah, that is it's a really important kind of group and a really
very exciting. I imagine that when 2 like musicians get together and then they do this like improvisation gigs, exactly the same for chefs when they visit each other in their kitchens and then they create something amazing.
Absolutely. And even through the lockdown, we were encouraged to cook together, etc. So like I would cook with someone from Los Angeles or Ireland. Vanshika could cook with someone from London, and it just kind of built that sense of resilience, if I may. It just felt like, even if, and I mean, as a fact, hospitality cannot work from home, so it just felt like there was the support system in place, and we still had to do all these things without compromising on our sustainability morals. I'm really sorry, my dogs are really loud. And I have 3.
But you gave the look. You gave the look.
They have strong opinions about what is going on. Let them talk.
They have important things to
translator. You just need a translator, but they're making a lot of sense.
There's a document manifesto. That's what you're talking about. It's all about
They must have learned so much from you.
Exactly. Yeah. So I would like to invite another person from India on the screen. Takshama, how are you doing with your dining? You are muted.
Hello. Hey, am I good now? Perfect.
You're
echoing. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
For some reason, I can't hear you guys. Hello? Just give me
We are here. We can hear you.
Oh, perfect. No, I wasn't able to hear you, but I guess, yeah. Do you want me to begin? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so, you don't want to have a seat? Yeah. So I will just flip my camera and how do I do that? Okay, yeah. So what we are doing today is a traditional Konkan lunch. So essentially, what the inspiration behind today was the western coast of India and a lot of the traditional recipes we've been cooking. Some of them have been lost over time. Some of them are, with ingredients that we don't find easily anymore. And some of the stuff that we've made today has essentially been upcycled. So I'll introduce you to everyone who's here today and who's been kind enough to not only join me for lunch, but help me a lot to get all of this together. So what I'll do is, do you mind if I put the phone down and then I face you towards all of us? Okay, great. Could you see us?
Yes, yes.
Okay, but not clearly, right?
Maybe, yes, everything should be okay. So maybe you keep the phone like this and then you just move around when you introduce people, if that's okay.
Okay, perfect. That works. So that's Shraddha. She's actually been my friend since a really long time. She has 2 master's degree in finance. And she just came back from London and she's actually started a food blog called Bread and Beta. That is like, did I pronounce it right? Beta. Bread and Beta. I'm sorry. It's like a technical thing. And she's actually been putting up a lot of recipes of what, her childhood recipes have been with her grandmother, but also like kind of a fusion of what she's, been exposed to. I think she'll be able to say it better.
Yeah, it's basically what you can cook with just stuff that's in your house rather than having to go and buy like 300 odd things. And it makes it much easier for people to replicate the stuff that I make.
Okay. Did you guys get that? I'm sorry, for some reason.
Yes, all good, all good. We will note if we don't hear something. Go on.
That's Paranak. He used to be a colleague as to we used to work together till recently. He's now started a sustainable business of natural, flavored syrups which do not have preservatives. He practices no plastic packaging in a lot of the things that he does, and all the stuff is either recycled or recyclable. So he can tell you a little bit more about.
Yeah, so basically we wanted to create sort of concentrated flavors for easy home drinking purposes, because a lot of the things that you get as flavors are usually mixed with a lot of preservatives and they last for quite a long time, but they're very artificial flavors. And we wanted to showcase a lot of local ingredients and seasonal stuff, but also keep it super natural. So we're using no preservatives while being super conscious about not using plastic or anything that can't be recycled or has been recycled in our packaging.
And that's, I'll shift, yeah. That's Pallav. He's essentially Paranak's brother, but I draw a lot of inspiration from him in the stuff I've also been doing, because he essentially is using like coffee waste that would end up in landfills to make crockery. which is very interesting, and it's very durable. It's and yeah, you can tell a little bit more about it.
Yeah. So essentially, what we are doing is basically we are using the spent coffee grounds that are that we collect from all the local cafes here, and we use it to make our tableware crockery products, which includes your normal plates, your bowls, your mugs, and up to 60% of the material that we use to make the crockeries is basically the spent coffee grounds that we collect from the cafes. And some of the essential features which a lot of restaurants or homeowners face with their crockeries is basically it breaks easily, and the color fades in easily. The few features that we have incorporated or we have seen in the crockery that we make is basically it doesn't break very easily even if you throw it from a height. It doesn't fade away, and it gives a very premium feel to the food that you put on the plates, and also it's environmentally sustainable. And the spent coffee, whatever that we use, if we don't use it, it goes to landfill, and it creates a lot of methane gas, which is harmful for environment. So it's just a way for us to use it and help to preserve the environment as well.
Yeah, and I think there are a couple of questions for you, Pallaviya.
Yeah.
I'll just open the chat. So Elizabeth says, Arena says, where are you based and what is the brand called? Elizabeth says, very cool. Again, what is this brand called? And the other comment said, that is amazing and such a cool brother duo. So.
Thank you so much, everybody. So we are still, in the beta phase. We are still doing some trials in terms of the designs that we want to put out in the market. So we are not yet commercially available, but soon are going to be. The brand essentially is called Ameya. It's a Sanskrit name, which means fearless. So I mean, essentially, we wanted to incorporate the Indian culture and the sense of fearlessness in what we are doing, and challenging the existing things that are available in the market. So yeah, I mean, that's what it is called. But yeah, I mean, we are soon going to be available commercially in India, and we are based out of Mumbai. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, and yes, I will keep you guys updated the moment they launch, and I will send everyone a link so y'all guys can connect with him. Should I take you over the food quickly?
Yes, please.
Yeah? Okay, great. Sorry, give me a second. So yeah, the setup essentially is very traditional, wherein we are not sitting at the table, but are sitting on the ground. The plates that you see are essentially of dried leaves, and so are the little bowls that are there on the side. The flowers are also very traditional, are often used during religious practices and festivals, etc. So we have a menu here, and just to kind of make it easier, I thought that you guys can refer to it. So the thing is, it's Saturday, right?
And can you tilt your Lakshma, sorry to interrupt. Would you mind turning your screen? Thank you so much. Thank you.
Fine? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So it's called Lazy Konkan Lunch because Konkan is a coast that we're on, and it's the weekend, so we're all lazy. We thought we'll have some beer and enjoy some really good homemade food. We actually did get beer from outside, from this company called Great State Ale Works. That essentially, we finished a bottle, so I had to keep the growler away. But we have one more growler. They're using millets such as bajra. Yes, Elizabeth, I'll definitely send some across if I could. But to have a very traditional drink, this is called a soul curry. It's drank by people either in the mornings or when it's really, really hot. It is made out of kokum, which is a sour fruit, and coconut milk as well. We also, we have a tradition of having drinks with something crispy and what you would call, how do you say, chatpata? spicy and like salty, etc. So we have some eggplant fried in with semolina and banana chips that have been fried at home. We also, from the same bananas that we made the chips from, the peels were going to go to waste. So we made like a subzi or a curry with that. So that is made out of banana peels. Yeah. We also wanted to, and I remember discussing this in class, right, that banana is one of those few species where you can use root to shoot cooking. That actually he also ended up saying on the Future Food website. So what we've done is we've used the banana blossoms to make this banana blossom subzi. It's also got peas in it to kind of give it some like a fresher element. Then we have a range of things that have been made from, essentially, when he makes the syrups, there are byproducts that are left behind after that. So we were thinking about how is it, and it's really nutritious. It's really, and it's fresh because they make it fresh every week. So we're wondering how we could use that. So I've made a tomato chutney. With a little, so he does a michelada, which is essentially tomato and herbs, and I've made a chutney with some mustard in it. He does a coconut and jaggery syrup, so we've used that to make like a halwa, which is a dessert. And yeah, and we've also made some lavender and blue pea, which isn't here right now. Then to go back to the traditional element of what we usually eat and the balance of diet, this is a lentil soup, you could call it, or a dal. So it's actually made by, by cooking you pressurize the lentils along with the rice in the same cooker. But then all you have to do is add three things, which is mustard, asafoetida, a little bit of turmeric, and actually the fourth one is salt. And we've just garnished it with coriander. This is bhat or rice, which we would be poured. It's a little hot, so we're going to have it with clarified butter later. We also thought that because there's nothing non-vegetarian, because I don't cook non-veg. But what we thought about was there's a close friend of ours from where we used to work who's also from a state along the same coast. So we asked, and he started a business that makes a very traditional prawn and chili chutney. So that's what it looks like. So we thought that will be a non-veg element for today, to also support a local business, but also because it goes with the theme of what we're trying to eat. And these are the other two elements so that you would usually eat with the flatbread. So that is what we eat every day. We put it in this so it stays warm. So that's the flatbread we eat with potatoes and peas. That also has a coconut-based gravy, and that is essentially like a cold salad. It's called koshimir, which is cucumber, peanuts, salt, chilies, and yeah, just a little bit of that. So the idea is to obviously nap after this. Because once we eat all of that, I'm pretty sure we're going to snooze. But the idea was also to balance the meal. So to have something upcycled with something that is very local, very seasonal, and to do it in a way that with recipes that we have almost lost touch with. A lot of these things, like this is something we don't usually make at home. This is something that my grandmother, in fact, had to call her sister to ask the recipe for because she herself forgot the recipe for it. Yeah, and that is something my mother actually taught me how to make this morning. So a lot of community effort has gone into this, and yeah, and these guys have been amazing and part of the meal today. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Takshama. I think we have to start collecting the recipes and having climate supper cookbooks. I think there is too much of deliciousness going on here, and I wish I could taste all of this. And I would like you to start enjoying it because you've worked a lot. So enjoy your meal, wonderful upcycled food, and also thumbs up for the projects what you introduced. Happy to hear about it more. later. And now we are traveling to another country. First, I have to check Ahmad. If I see his name on our list, I just want to see if he can maybe turn on his camera and the microphone. So we are also connecting to Afghanistan, if that works out. While this is happening, I wanted to ask Sarah to tell us a bit more about the living labs, because this has been also mentioned multiple times today. So what exactly are the future food living labs? Where are these living labs and what is the goal with them?
Of course, I'm so happy to share. So what are living labs? We understood when we started with Future Food that we wanted to have spaces like Fab Labs for food, open to people that want to they start to build together something like hacking food, prototyping, failing, free to play. And so we created the first one that was really a small prototype that was a container that Elizabeth and Anusha knows really well. Was a shipping container placed in the main square of a small town in Italy called Reggio Emilia. This shipping container was a glass container, so everybody could actually enter and see what we were doing. We spent there 3 years with this shipping container in the middle of the biggest square of a very tiny city, very traditional in the center of Italy, inside the food valley. So we started seeing that actually having spaces that are welcoming people, that can become like hubs, connecting people coming from industries, families, schools, scientists, also grandmas, are really something that are so much needed. And so after this prototype, we started a much bigger one in Bologna, that is in the main square of the University of Bologna, so a place that naturally, spontaneously, every single day is basically full of people coming from different parts of the world, coming from different backgrounds, because in the same university there are many different faculties. And so we opened this place. This place is hosting every day around 3,000 people per day. So it's a very, very big space where we have a space for convening, a space for eating, a space for pop-up restaurants, a space for labs. So where our Jose and the Food Alchemist team actually are working every day, creating new foods and so on. And then we have 3 different labs, one focus on the future of food and technologies and food. So for food hackers, real food hackers. So we have 3D printers and any kind of geeky things and sensors to play with food and start to study food from this perspective. Then we have another one focused on urban farming, where we are hosting different prototypes and different startups that are testing their technologies in our space. So farms, food computers, hydroponic, aquaponic solutions, and so on. And then we have our Food Alchemist lab, where actually we are experimenting a lot around food waste, upcycling food waste, and fermentation at large. And last but not least, we have a stage, a theater, a place that every single day pre-COVID was hosting events, hackathons, pitch from startup, from scientists, from researchers. So really, it's a big square where people can come together and share knowledge and brainstorm and create new ideas. And actually something that also from the industry perspective is very much needed, because it's a space where they can talk with consumers that are not consumers, become co-creators, become people that are giving you free feedbacks. And I think that industry now needs so much this kind of real connection with people, because I think that consumers need to be part of the design of the next future of the global food systems. Last week, so this week actually, we officially opened also our Living Lab in Japan. The Living Lab in Japan has the kind of the same soul, but it's a bit different. because we don't have just one big unique place, but in one neighborhood in front of Tokyo Station, there are multiple places. So there is the space for innovating in the kitchen with the beautiful brand new kitchen that is hosting chefs and people coming from the culinary world to prototype and brainstorm about new foods. But then there is a huge space, I would say a huge space, just because the machine is big, but they are actually prototyping a machine to grow food on Mars. So for vertical farming and smart farming, it's a pretty visionary professor that put together this facility that is experimenting on how to grow food in this kind of places. And then we have a square where we are welcoming farmers and connecting the peri-urban area and the farmers around Tokyo, connecting with the cities, and many different other places hosting food makers. So again, it's a physical space where people can come and prototype and brainstorm about new foods. So living labs are real, are not digital, are places where people can hug each other. And this is something that we are need now more than ever before. So we really hope we can reopen soon our living labs. And we want a living lab in India, ladies. We want to do a living lab in India.
Just say when.
Yeah, I really look forward to come back.
I see everyone's coming back out like.
Yeah. Exactly.
So let's see the future food living labs spread over the world over the next years. This will be very exciting. Ahmad unfortunately will need to join us later. There was an emergency coming up, but he will join us later at the next session. This being said, during the next session, you will also see a bit more about the Food Alchemist Lab, what Sarah just mentioned. We will have Jose and the team joining us and guiding us virtually through. Hi, Ahmad. Okay, so we can see you. Will you still
Hello,
join
Julia
us?
and friends. How are you? I'm sorry that some unexpected thing came to me and I couldn't manage very well. So just I came from there and I want to show my food in next slot.
No problem. Thank you for dialing in. I will see you your 5 p.m. later with the delicious food.
Yeah,
But
sure. Even I recorded my video when I was going to market to purchase some of the ingredients. I was very well prepared, but I'm sorry that unexpected thing came. And then I left to there and then came back and it was late.
Don't worry at all.
No worries.
Yeah, they were very delicious. Thank you.
Thank you so much. See you later.
See you. Thank you.
So yeah, before we close this session, a bit of a spoiler alert. What will we have in our next session starting at 11 a.m. Central European time? We will travel through the Philippines, Turkey, Singapore again, Lebanon, Belgium, Finland, Ghana, Rwanda, South Africa, Zambia, Italy, and Afghanistan. So I would like all of you to stay connected today and meet the other climate shapers. And as I started to say, so Jose de la Rosa will also join us and show you around in the Food Alchemist Lab based in Bologna. And for now, we don't have any further questions, additions. Wonderful dining experience is what I can still see from Radhika's table. Thank you everyone for joining us. It's always a pleasure to see your faces on my screen. And see you in 2 hours. Now I need to rush to the local market and make back on time to start the next session.
That's great.
Hi everyone.
Bye.
See you later. Ciao. Ciao, ciao, ciao.